Namaste, everyone. Hi, and welcome. I'm Lauren, and this is going to be a 90-minute Yin Yoga and meditation class. I'm recording this class for my 300-hour yoga teacher training, and it's really funny because originally I was going to do a vinyasa flow, which is the style of yoga that I've been teaching for the past year. And certain things have come up in my life and events have happened that have really been leading me towards a different style of yoga and a different type of healing. And I've been finding that in Yin Yoga. So today, I am so excited to share a Yin class with all of you guys. So a couple things about this class. You might want to set the atmosphere for a deep release yoga and meditation. So you can feel free to take a moment to pause the video, maybe dim your lights, light some candles, create your space. And you're also going to need a few props. So a couple yoga blocks will come in handy. Also, if you have some pillows or bolsters or a rolled up blanket, those will be good for this class as well. And don't worry if you don't have all of those, just some combination of what you can find will work out perfectly for what we're doing today. So let's go ahead and get started immediately by heading into child's pose. So bring the knees to the outer edge of the mat. Let the toes touch. Let the sits bones come back to the heels. And then just extend your arms forward. And the forehead will rest flat against the mat. Start to connect with your breath here in child's pose. Focus on breathing in and out smoothly, calmly, slowly. Feel the elongation in the back body. See if you can sink your hips a little bit further back towards your heels. And feel a nice stretch in the shoulders. Good, so continue here in child's pose. Just coming into the present moment here. Maybe you can turn your head right to left to massage your forehead against the mat. Continue to come into that breath awareness. We take a deep breath into the forehead. Lift the brow bones and then relax any tension that you're holding in the forehead. On your next inhale, take a deep breath into the jaw and smile wide. And then release the jaw and let any tension melt away from the jaw. Continue the steady breathing. Breathe into the shoulders and then exhale to melt them back and away from the ears. Let that tension in the shoulders go. And then feel the weight of the knees and the sits bones just sink into the earth here. Bring your whole body and your whole being here into the present moment. Bring the eyes to close if they're not already. And then just take a second. Continuing with that steady, peaceful, calm breath. Use your mind's eye and just outline the shape of the room that you're in here. Outline the rectangle or the square, whatever shape the room is. In your mind's eye, draw a line around the walls where the ceiling meets the walls, where the corners connect. And just establish the space that you're in right now as the space that will hold your presence and keep you here for this beautiful healing practice. And then next, bringing your awareness a little bit closer in, outline the shape of your map. Draw the triangle in your mind around all the edges where your whole body now resides. Bringing your awareness and attention closer in here. Smooth inhales, smooth exhales. In and out of the nose. And then lastly, drawing your attention and focus even more deeply inward, rest it there on your heart space. The heart space, the very center of the chest, let each inhale and exhale expand and contract from there. A Yin Yoga class is very different from some other types of yoga like vinyasa or power or hatha. In Yin Yoga, we're going to be holding poses for a much longer period of time, average of 3 to 5 minutes per pose. And we're doing this in order to deeply, deeply connect and stretch the fascia, the innermost tissues of the body. So we're working deeply into the connective tissues and the joints. So not necessarily the muscles like we do with other yoga classes. So keep that in mind as we're going through. We're going to be taking a lot of time in each pose, exploring the depths of each pose before moving on to the next pose. So in that way, there will be a total less number of poses throughout the class. So taking your last couple breaths in child's pose here, bringing the attention back to the heart center. From child's pose, we're just going to walk the palms over towards the top left edge of the mat. And then see if you can reach the right hand forward to place the right hand on top of the left hand. Opening up a deep stretch in the right side body here. Breathe into that stretch. See if you can press your right hip bone back towards the heel. Feeling separation in the right side body and in between the ribs. Continue to breathe here. Stay in this stretch for just a few moments. So one of the first principles that we deal with in Yin Yoga is the most important, and that's the concept of finding your edge in stretches. What we mean by finding the edge is that you want to stretch as far as you feel some tension there, but never pain. So the edge can be this fine line between what feels a bit uncomfortable and then what actually hurts. So we always want to stop before we get to the point of hurting. And the responsibility is greatly on you, the practicer of yoga, to respect your edge. Every person is different, and there's no way that I could know your edge, so I want you to always find it for yourself, respect it, and not push past it. We will be making opposite progress if we push too far past our edge. So that's going to be important for the whole class. So just finding your edge and staying with it here. The breath is a wonderful guide for the edge. If the breath gets too shallow or it starts to be hard to breathe, we know that we've gone too far past the edge and we're just going to want to come back out of it. So an achy, dull discomfort is good. A sharp stabbing pain, bad. So just remember that about the edge during this practice. Last couple breaths here. And then on your next inhale, we can inhale deeply to bring the palms back facing the top edge of the mat And then exhale deeply to walk your hands over to the right top corner of the mat. Do your best to see if you can get the left palm to come on top of the right palm. And sink into this here, taking a moment to find that edge that we just talked about. Breathe into the left side body. Beckon the left hip back down towards the heels. Let the forehead rest here on the mat. Breathe into this beautiful stretch here. Continue to hold this, stretch at your edge here. I'd like to talk about the second principle that we do in Yin Yoga, and that is committing to stillness. So as we gently move into a pose and find the edge, we then commit to stay in a state of stillness for the length of the pose, which as we know now can be about 3 to 5 minutes. This commitment to stillness, this staying power, helps us to cultivate discipline on the mat, but also to cultivate discipline off the mat. And it can be a challenge mentally and physically at times. You'll find that though Yin is a slow practice, it can be quite intense. Now, with that in mind, we always have an eye on safety. So anytime during this class, if you're feeling that pain, that the pose isn't working for you, return to a gentle child's pose. And then just rest there until we transition to the next pose. Just a few more breaths in this pose here. Inhale to walk the arms back to center. And now we're going to bring the left hand directly underneath the heart space. And we're going to inhale, peeling the right arm up to the sky. And then exhale, thread the needle. Bringing the right arm flat to the earth. Palm is up. The face of the shoulder should be directly against the mat. And your choice here, you can leave the left palm under the heart or shine it forward. Keep the hips square here and feel that deep stretch into the right shoulder. And the left cheek can rest down towards the mat. Another all-important principle that we commit to during Yin Yoga is the breath, and using the breath as the mantra of the practice. So the breath here should be calm, stable, fluid, and you can either try to make the inhale and exhale the same length, or you can experiment with lengthening the exhale and making it up to twice as long as the inhale. Use a couple more breaths in this pose to explore that now. On the next inhale, bring the left arm back underneath the heart space And then unthread the right arm up high to the sky. And then place the right palm down directly next to the left. The right palm will now take its place under the heart space. And we'll just inhale to peel the left arm up. And then exhale to thread that left arm completely flat to the floor. Palm is up. Right arm can extend. Find your edge. Find your stillness. Follow your breath as your mantra. Sometimes in holding these poses for longer amounts of time, it's easy for the mind to wander, even get bored. This is where we work on the discipline of committing to the present moment, coming back to our practice. Again and again, gathering our thoughts up and bringing them back to the mat. On your next inhale, the right palm can press down. The left arm can unthread, meet the mat, and then we'll come to a tabletop. Beautiful. Let's engage our asabandha here, pressing through the knuckles of the hands, creating a suction cup under the palms, and just take a very few slow cat-cow. So inhale to drop the navel towards the mat and shine the heart forward. Exhale to round the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale as we arch and shine forward. Exhale to round. Inhaling, shining the heart forward. Exhaling, curving the spine up high. Finding a neutral spine. We're going to tuck the toes under and come into a very gentle down dog. Press the hips up, back, and high. Keep a bend in the knees. Very gentle here. And then we're going to use our hands and walk the hands back towards the feet. And the feet can remain hip-width distance apart, just as they were in your down dog. And so now we'll dangle here for a few minutes. So, engaging all four corners of the feet. Finding suction under the arch. Grabbing opposite elbows into your ragdoll. Remember, find your edge here. That may be with knees bent, wherever you find a comfortable stretch in the hamstrings. But wherever that is for you, let the head hang heavy. Let the weight of the head open up the back of the legs. And do not resist here. You may also find that gently shifting your weight towards the balls of your feet can help with the stretch here. Find your edge and settle into peace here. If you're looking for a little more length here, a little more depth, you can also suck in the low belly, Uddiyana Bandha, and find a little more stretch across the back of the legs. But don't forget, only you know where your healthy edge is. Release the arms and the fingertips back down to the mat. And then slowly and gently walk those hands back out forward, coming to a gentle down dog. From our down dog, we're going to bend deeply into both knees and then pick up that right leg and step it in between the hands. Release the left knee down to the mat. Release the top of the left foot. And then from here, we can heel toe the right foot out towards the edge of the mat a bit to your comfort. And here's where a block can come in handy. We're going to set up for lizard pose. So you may be just staying here in this pose. What we're looking for is a stretch deep into the groin. So opening the inside of the hip. Or you may find that you can come all the way down onto the forearms. Or you may find that propping up a block or your pillows underneath the forearms can be really good. Find your edge here. Find your stillness. And then find your breath. There's a wonderful quote that I love that I'm going to reference here. It's attributed to Brian Kest. And he says that yoga does not ask us to be more than we are, but it does ask us to be everything that we are. And to me, that quote, no more than we are, but everything that we are, signifies living life at the edge. So we're finding our edge in this pose. And we find our edge in life where we give what we can, but we don't push past that or strive beyond what we're capable of. These are the things that create strife in life. You're doing good here. Hold this pose just a bit longer. Connect with the breath. Placing both hands down on the mat, you may remove the block to the side. And then you'll want to walk your right foot back towards the midline of the mat again. You can plant both hands into the mat, and then we're going to come up on the back left toe, and then come into your pigeon. So bringing the right heel underneath the left wrist, aligning the shin towards the top short edge of the mat, and then coming down into our pigeon pose here, or as I believe they call it in Yin, the swan pose. This can also be a place where blocks bolster helpful. You may choose to put one under your right hip if that allows this pose to become more accessible to you. You might also choose to place it in front of you because we're going to recline, if that's available to you, next by coming down onto the forearms. So perhaps it's better for you to be up on a block or a pillow here. Wherever you are, find that edge first, and then we'll sink into this pose, returning to stillness. Returning to the breath. You're doing great. Continue in pigeon here. I am just getting up to check that my recording is still working. And it is. Good news. In and out. Calm and slow. Long and deep. Connect with the breath. Going into the last minute of holding this pose, how does it feel different from when you first started? down ever so gently, pressing onto the palms to bring the torso right up. We're going to lean into that right hip and then just swing the left leg around in front of us. And it's okay to feel a little creaky and old after that. That was quite a lot of hip action there. So now, with our left leg extended and the foot flexed, we're going to pick up our right foot and cross it over the left thigh, bringing the right foot in contact with the ground. And you may be on the outer pinky edge, outside edge of the right foot, coming into half Gomukhasana here. We want the knees to be as close to stacked on each other as you can. That's not always accessible. And so from here, with the left foot flat and flexed, we're going to engage into Mula Bandha. Suck in the low pelvic floor. Engage into Uddiyana Bandha. Suck in the low belly. Inhale, the arms up. Feel the lift out of the hips. And then exhale with the flat back. We fold over. The back remains flat till we find our edge. And then we can let the neck curl down slightly and the hands come to the mat. This can be an intense hamstring stretch in the left leg. So really respect that edge here. And when you find it, sink into the present moment. Send the breath to the places that need it. Send the breath where you feel that stretch. Yin Yoga can really be a roller coaster of emotions. In 1 minute, we might find ourselves in a stretch that we love, feels so good, and we want to just stay in that pose forever. And then the next, we find ourselves in a pose that we just can't stand. And it brings up so much negativity in us, and we just cannot wait for the instructor to say that we can transition. And this is the discipline, the fortitude that's developed in him. Beautiful. Take the hands and walk the torso back up high. And now we're going to take that left ankle and put it directly on top. The right ankle. We're going to take the right ankle and put it directly on top of the left knee. And then we're going to bend the left knee so that the left ankle comes directly below the right knee. So knees are stacked. Hip bones are both squared to the floor. If this is challenging or not accessible to you, you can take Sukhasana or easy cross-leg position with your right leg in front. So either taking fire log here or double pigeon, or taking easy seat We'll find both of our sits bones rooted. We'll engage Mula Bandha, engage Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale. The arms up high. And then exhale with that flat back. We're hinging over till we find our edge. Beautiful. Live on the edge here. Find an edge that you can hold now into stillness. Remember to use the breath. If there's resistance in the body, if negative emotions arise, use the breath to move it. Wrap that resistance in the breath. So see if you can soften it. Last couple breaths here. Now, if you're in fire log, just return to easy seated position. And then from there, we can roll over the shins, or you can just swing the legs back behind you and make our way to tabletop. Again, creating that suction, pressing into the knuckles of the hand, energetically pulling the pinky finger and the thumb towards each other. Take a couple cat-cow. Make them really slow and intentional. Returning to a neutral spine, we tuck the toes under. Gently send the hips up and back. Gentle down dog with knees bent. Bend deeply into both knees. And then pick up that left leg and step it forward in between the hands. Coming back down on the right knee. Uncurl the right toes. Now we'll heel toe that left foot towards the edge of our mat. Bringing both palms to the inside of the left foot. We may need to wiggle the back right knee back a little bit. And then using your block or your forearms, or staying here in lizard, we'll sink into this pose. Finding the edge, finding stillness, finding breath. Every inhale invites new. Every exhale releases what's no longer needed. Another principle of Yin is surrender. Surrendering to the present moment, even if it is not ideal. Committing to the fullest experience of life without running to distraction or an easy way out. This is a strength that Yin teaches us. And we'll embrace it here. And then gently, slowly, press back up onto the hands. Remove the block, and then heel toe that left leg back towards the midline of the mat. We'll come up on the ball of the right foot, and then send the left heel behind the right wrist as we settle into pigeon on the left side. Take a moment to use the props that you need, and then we'll head into reclined position. Maybe your mind has wandered off to the many things that we have to do. Commit to bring it back here for the last minute of this pose. Continuing with your pigeon, and just attending to my video here. Looks like we had a minor malfunction. Okay. Okay, gently coming out of pigeon here. We're going to roll our weight onto our left hip and swing the right leg all the way around. Right leg is flat to the mat, toes flexed. We'll pick up the left heel and place it across the right thigh. And the outer pinky edge of the left heel can be, the outer pinky edge of the left foot can be in contact with the mat. Engaging Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha. Raising high, we'll fold with a flat back over the right leg. Always coming back to the breath. Only a few more rounds of slow, steady, even breath here. And now gently use your fingertips to walk your torso back up high and straight. The left ankle stacks on top of the fleshy part above the right knee. The right knee bends to come into full pigeon here. The mat's get almost up. Knees are stacked. Shins are parallel to the front short edge of the mat. If this is not accessible for you here, then remain in a Sukhasana, cross-legged position. Your option to stay here or engage into Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale the arms up and then fold over. Really respect your edge here. Option always to stay erect if you're feeling a deep enough stretch. Yin Yoga really works our mental resilience. When we are committed to staying through the boredom, through the mild discomfort here in the mat, it really helps us with that resilience in real life. We notice we start to become lighter, less triggered when people do things that bother us, more happy in the present moment, less need to change things. This practice can be so healing to the body and to the soul. Stay with the breath. Really commit to presence for the last couple rounds of breath here. And now we can come to an easy seated position. And you can either roll over the shins to come to tabletop or just swing the legs around. However you'd like to make your way there. Inhale to extend the right leg back. Come onto the ball of the right foot and look good. A gentle calf stretch. Find your edge here and hold. On your next inhale, you can bring the right knee back to tabletop and then extend the left, giving a calf stretch on the left side. both palms evenly into the floor and send the right leg back to meet the left in plank. And then hugging the elbows in, we're going to lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes, and you can let the legs splay out naturally or widen the stance of the legs towards the outer edges of the mat. And what we'll do here is we're going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, and the palms can be flat on the mat. Coming into Sphinx here. So this pose is wonderful for the kidneys, the gallbladder, and we're finding a little bit of compression here in the lower back. Relax the buttocks. And if you like, for the remainder of this pose, you can straighten the arms, coming into seal. Just be careful with the compression in the low back. You can also see if widening the stance of the arms, and then sometimes, when you bring the arms in closer, it increases. But this is where I really must trust you to respect your edge and to listen to your body. And then once you're there, return to stillness. The head can stay straight, or you can let it gently rest. Chin for chest. Remember, the breath is the mantra. In and out, long and slow, calm and deep. Last few breaths here. Gently bend into the elbows and then come back down to the mat. Let the forehead rest against the palm. And now, bringing the knees closer together, we're going to bend generously into the right leg and then reach back with the right hand, holding on to the top of the right foot. And we're going to give ourselves a quad stretch. So this is like the setup for half bobos here. So you can let the forehead rest on the mat and hold here, finding your stillness in your breath. If you are pregnant, you can roll to your left side body and then pull your same way, you're just on the side of your body, stretching the right quad. And you can prop up your head like this if you'd like. So a couple options there. And also remember that a strap can come in handy here if you're not able to reach back to the top of your right foot. Another reason I really love this pose is it's an alternative to hero pose, which can be quite intense for many of us. Release the right leg. And we'll switch sides here, just gently and slowly. Let the right leg be long, then gently into the left leg and reach back and grab the top of the left foot. And gently release the left leg long. Roll out the ankles both ways. And we'll once again plant the palms beneath the shoulders and then press back into a child's pose. And then gently coming up onto all fours, we'll tuck the toes under. Back into gentle down dog. We're going to step the right foot forward to the outside of the right hand. Step the left foot forward. Toes are pointing outwards towards the outer edges of the mat. And we'll sink into Malasana. Sits bones going down towards the floor. The elbows live in the crooks of the knee. Now this can be a challenging pose sometimes, so I do highly recommend you can either put a block on the highest setting or the middle setting. Having that support under the sits bones as high as you need it can make this a lot more accessible. So give that a try before we sink into our stillness here. Continue in Malasana. I'm just checking the video again. Good. Oh no, I don't know if that was messed up or not. Okay. Returning to Malasana. Laugh at yourself when you make mistakes. Last few breaths here. Hands in prayer at the heart. Anjali Mudra. And then we'll take both hands behind us and come onto our bum. Bringing the palms to the back of the thighs, we'll just slowly come down to a laying position. Feels so good to lay down after all this stretching. Oops, just kidding. Come back up high. So before that, I'm going to face you guys to the side here. And we're going to take butterfly pose. So bringing the bottoms of the feet to touch together. Moving the heels as close to the sit bone as possible. Sitting up tall and proud. The hands can, wrap gently around the feet. Engaging Uddiyana Bandha. We're going to just slowly come down as much as we can, finding our edge here. The elbows can be used to gently press into the calves to get that opening stretch in the groin. Always remember that the breath is a mantra here. So the breath acts as the bridge between our body and our thoughts. So oftentimes we'll find that when the mind is scattered, the breath becomes scattered and shortened. When the mind is at peace, the breath is smooth, long, peaceful. And it's not always the mind that informs the breath. We can use the breath to calm and to rope the mind back in whenever we want. So really utilize that and practice that in the next few poses. Gently press your torso back to an upright position. And then you can turn to the side if you need to on your mat. And just extend wide-legged position here, just as far as you can. And once again, with the flat back, we engage the low belly and come down towards the floor. Let your hands rest wherever you like. As you find your edge here, see if, rather than reaching forward, if you can use your quads to pull the torso closer to the ground, and note what a difference that makes. And then we'll sink into stillness here. Use your breath to reel the mind back in. Breathe from the heart. Last few breaths here. Gently press the torso back upright. Bring the knees to come together. You can shift again so that your body can lie long ways across the mat. And then we'll head back down, slowly come onto the back for real this time. Let the arms out long. And then we'll hug both knees in, wrapping the arms around the chins. Let the right leg extend long and rest on the mat. Grab your left knee with your right hand. Send the left hand long out to the side with the palm up. Glue that left shoulder to the mat. And then guide the left knee to twist across the body. So the left hip comes completely off the mat, but the left shoulder stays glued. Right arm can come out to the side. Gaze goes to your left. On your next inhale, come out of the twist and bring both knees into the chest. Squeeze them in again. This time, keep the right knee in the chest. Extend the left leg long. Put that right hand out to the side. Palm up, arm flat against the earth. Glue the right shoulder to the mat. Guide the left knee to twist the torso. Feels so good. Right hip is off the mat. Right shoulder is glued. Gaze goes to the right. Inhale to bring those knees into the chest, coming out of the twist, back flat against the mat. Then exhale, place the feet down on the mat, knees bent, and heel toe the feet towards the outer edges of the mat. Knees come to touch in constructive rest pose. And then just hold there for a moment. We're almost heading into Shavasana, but we're taking a moment just to integrate. We've deeply stretched the major muscle groups here. So just take a moment to integrate and notice the energy going through your body. Notice what you're feeling. And then I want us to take Heart Lotus Mudra at the chest here. So we can achieve that by starting in prayer. Thumb and fingertips stay touching, but the rest of the fingers splay out. Then we rest this against the heart. So now here, right before we take our final resting position, the breath becomes natural and normal without trying to change it in any way. Just connect to the normal rhythm of your breath. It's like your mantra that never leaves you. It's like a metronome, always keeping your personal cadence. And when you've connected there with the breath, again bring the focus to the heart space. We have our Heart Lotus Mudra, helping us to open the heart, helping us to connect with the heart. So now we give the breath more focus. Every inhale starts at the heart and it spans out in all directions. Every exhale comes back in from all directions and returns to the heart space. And each time, the expansion and contraction lets the heart open a little bit more. This is the heart space. Many people say it's where the intuition lies. This is the part in you that is the exact same as me. And this is a part in us that is the exact same with every human in the universe. Let it expand and contract, flow in and out. Send your breath out. Send your prana out as a gift to others, and receive it back as a gift from the universe. And so now, we can release the Heart Lotus Mudra, continuing though on the focus of the breath rising and falling, expanding and attracting from the heart space. We'll set up for our final Shavasana here. So use whatever props. You could place a pillow underneath your head, whatever you'd like. Take a couple minutes to set up for your perfect Shavasana here. If you are like me, I have a lot of curvature in the lumbar spine, so it's easier for me to do constructive rest like we were just doing, or to take a Supta Baddha Konasana so the heels of the feet can touch and the knees splay out. Palms can be up. Beautiful. Just rest there in your Shavasana. Continuing with the breath mantra that we started at the very beginning of class. In and out, calm and slow, up and down, rise and fall. This heart space is a place of you where healing always resides. It's the seat of the soul. It's a place you can always come back to when the world gets hectic. Sometimes we need these beautiful, intense yoga classes to stretch the body so that we can access the soul. Staying with your breath here, I'd love to read you some words by Megan Walsh. And I'd love for you to repeat these words back silently in your mind after each line that I say. I'll give some time for that. There's always time to start over, to rebuild what has been broken, to right what is wrong, to align with life. There is always time to slow down and regroup. To come back to our center. To return to our bodies. To find our strength. There is always time to stop and look at where we are standing. To see our feet in the dirt. To feel the earth beneath us. To know our place. There is always time to appreciate the little things. To indulge in simple pleasures. To adorn the world with beauty. To honor embodiment. There is always time to amend the soil. To tend to our foundation. To get our hands dirty. to reclaim our integrity. There is always time to evolve with our values, to realign with our worth, to come back to the basics, to remember who we are. Slow down. Remember. Return home. It does not matter how long we've been away. We are always welcome, and we are always worthy. Begin now to deepen your breath. Extending the inhales and the exhales. Taking small movements in the fingers and the toes. Circle the wrists and the ankles if you like. And then roll to your favorite side. Keeping the knees in the fetal position. You can use your bicep as a pillow. We're emerging from corpse pose here. Each Shavasana at the end of yoga class is a symbolic death. Always remember that. Always take this moment as you're emerging from Shavasana in the fetal position to remember to leave behind what you don't need. This is a new life right now. And so then gently press yourself up and make your way to Sukhasana. Tall spine. Maybe roll the neck and the shoulders a few times. Eyes are closed. Hands come to prayer at the heart space, Anjali Mudra. I'm really grateful that you practice with me today. It's an honor to hold this space with you. May the long-time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Namaste. Thank you, friends.